Doorbot was created in 2013 by Jamie Siminoff, and he even appeared on an episode of Shark Tank where he was asking for a deal from the sharks in front of him. The idea was a doorbell with a camera on it that allows users to see and speak to anyone standing in front of the camera, simply by using their phone. They weren't too fond of the idea, and he ended up walking out with 0 deals. The next year, the company was renamed to Ring, and in 2018 was acquired by Amazon for approximately $1 billion. And yes, while this is a story of an underdog who appeared on Shark Tank, this product planted a seed for hundreds of millions of events to be caught on camera. And today, we'll be talking about the disturbing ones. From kidnappings to security breaches to clowns carrying weapons to even whatever this is. Today, we'll be talking about the most disturbing things caught on Ring cameras. And if you're not subscribed yet, don't even worry about it. I promise I'll earn your subscription by the end of this video. Without further ado, let's get started. Possible kidnapping in Leimert Park. This video was captured by a Ring doorbell camera on November 12, 2019. In a clearly desperate call for help, a woman screams and shouts, "Help me, somebody help me." Seemingly unsure about what was going on, the homeowner steps out to the front porch and watches from a distance. Soon after, a vehicle, suspected to be a 4-door white Prius, zooms past with the woman still calling for help until they're out of earshot. And right at the beginning of the video, a man can be heard saying, "I'm sorry," over and over again. This happened in Leimert Park, 3800 block of 3rd Avenue at about 11 p.m. And because of the chilling nature of the video and how far it traveled through social media, a day later on the 13th, the LAPD opened up an investigation into a possible kidnapping situation. Detectives went and canvassed the area. An officer, Mike Lopez, told the media they couldn't find evidence of a crime, but they were still out there for hours, going door to door, trying to see if any other Ring cameras on the block had captured any additional thing about the incident. According to their report, the woman was only identified as a quote female, black with dark braided hair, and she was believed to have been in the front passenger seat of the car. The aggressor in the driver's seat was described as a black male. The police also stated that the witnesses saw her hair being pulled backward as she was screaming. Also that there was a plastic wrap over the front passenger side window, most likely from a previous traffic collision. Some of the neighbors who spoke to news crews also added in how terrifying the whole thing had been. Strange though is how nobody from the neighbors to the police had no idea what happened. It wasn't even established if whether or not she was from the area. The police did however ask for anyone with any new information about the incident to come forward, but it looks like no one ever did. The only new development in this case was that officers later identified the car, initially suspected to be a Prius, as a Toyota Matrix, a model between the years 2003 and 2008. Actual kidnapping in Fort Worth, Texas. In May of 2019, at around 6:30 p.m., a Ring doorbell camera captured this incident where an 8-year-old, Salem Sabaka, gets kidnapped while out on a walk with her mother. As the homeowner walks out to see what's happening, the camera shows the chilling moment when Sabaka is grabbed. Her mother is thrown onto the ground, and in a clearly desperate try, she attempts to run after the car while begging for help from anyone within earshot. This happened in Fort Worth, Texas, and as soon as the authorities were notified, a statewide Amber Alert was issued and an investigation was set up. Then, realizing the gravity of the situation, everyone in the neighborhood was happy to join in on the search, with the police circulating a picture and description of the suspect's vehicle and also sharing a photo of what Sabaka was wearing on that day, including a short description of her. This collective effort soon paid off because thankfully, just a few hours later, she was found and the suspect, 51-year-old Michael Webb, arrested. Apparently, Jeff King, a local pastor, together with his friend, had spoken to a detective who told them to search parks and hotels first. At around 2:30 a.m., 8 hours or so after the kidnapping, King found the car, the one the police had shared images of at a nearby hotel, Wood Spring Suites. This was about 10 miles from where Sabaka had been taken. Armed with the new tip from King, Fort Worth police officers immediately sprang into action and rescued the girl, even sharing footage of the exact moment they got to her. Luckily, she had been unhurt and got reunited with her family, with lots of accolades of course going to King. Now, a mind-blowing fact about this case is that just a few hours before King had found the suspect's car parked at the hotel, the police had apparently visited the same hotel, spoke to that man, and had found nothing. Anyway, Webb got sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. It also turned out that he had an extensive criminal history, having been charged in 14 crimes that happened either in Smith or Gregg counties since the mid-1980s. Among others, these crimes include burglary, evading arrest, making terror-like threats, and even assaulting a woman using a knife in 2018, though for that assault crime, he had been let go since the victim failed to show up in court several times. Now, while the girl Sabaka was found, as Richard Vance, a Smith County prosecutor, said, it's unimaginable the sort of pain she was put through, even with those hours with that random man. 8-year-old's Ring camera hacked. in what would absolutely be a nightmare to any parent, in December 2019, a Ring camera owned by a Mississippi family captured this video where a strange man hacks into the camera, situated in their daughter's room, and starts taunting her, even encouraging her to do destructive stuff. The first thing that is heard is creepy music. It was Tiny Tim's rendition of Through the Tulips. You know, tiptoe through the tulips. Yeah, that creepy song. That's what this dude was playing through the kid's Ring camera. He also started playing some banging noises. Alyssa LeMay, the daughter, confused as to where the sound is coming from, is seen trying to look around. She'd been in the hallway and would later explain that coming to the bedroom, she thought it was her sister making these strange noises, but then that was far from it. This is what could be heard coming from the Ring speaker.
Who is that?
I'm your best friend. I'm Santa Claus.
Mommy!
I'm Santa Claus. Don't you want to be my best friend?
Terrified, she calls out, "Who is that?" And the guy watching her responds with, "I'm your best friend, Santa Claus." This obviously spooks Alyssa even further as she now calls her mom. The voice continues taunting her about being Santa Claus before trying to get her to do things. Specifically, he said, what's the secret word? And then he says, say the N-word with a hard R. So that just tells you the type of kid that fucking hacked into the camera, man. You would think... Yeah, man, it's just so almost predictable. Yeah, let's keep going. Luckily, before the 5-minute long ordeal could go any further, her dad, who had been in the house, intervened, taking off the batteries from the camera. Later explaining the incident to the media, Alyssa's mom, Ashley LeMay, said it had been distressing even watching back the video. She had a gut feeling that the hacker could have been someone who knew the family or was at least very close by. Ashley also admitted that they had not put on two-factor authentication for their accounts. Ring ended up investigating the situation and confirmed that this wasn't a compromise on Ring security or a data breach. Instead, it was likely the result of a weak password and weak security measures on the family's part. But yeah, if you were listening to this story and were like, oh my god, I have a Ring camera, it could get hacked. It's like, no, I mean, just have a good password, have two-factor authentication, and don't share your passwords. Change your password every, I don't know, 6 months. Yeah, no one's gonna hack into your camera and tell you to say the N-word with a hard R, or tell you they're Santa Claus or something like that. But still, it was a rather unnerving incident, especially for an 8-year-old girl. Hey guys, Tough from the future here. I'm currently sick. I don't know if you could tell. Actually, no, you can't tell because I'm super cool. But I just want to let you guys know, make sure to leave a like. This is my reminder, all right, for you guys to leave a like. I didn't originally do in the video. I really do appreciate when you guys click the like button. I keep saying that. That's really it. Let's continue with the video. Break-in via pretend Doordash. In a very recent disturbing incident in March of 2023, a Ring camera captured a couple of people attempting to invade a home in Montgomery County by using food delivery as a leeway. As seen here, a woman pretends to be a DoorDash delivery driver and repeatedly knocks on the door of the home, which is located in the Harmony subdivision area. She looks like she's trying to see something on her phone and then goes back to knocking, even attempting to peek inside the house. All this while 4 people try to break in through the backyard, and they can be seen running across the yard at some point. Now, fake delivery burglaries are already scary by themselves, but what's really creepy about the situation is that the woman in the video was lingering around the home for about 40 minutes from 1:20 a.m. to 2 a.m. The person inside the home, the homeowner's sister-in-law, later told the media that it had been just her and her nephew inside, and they even heard the commotion outside while the whole thing was going on. She was also able to identify the female suspect as having a large flower tattoo on her right thigh and a floral one on her wrist too. This can be seen on the Ring camera as well. Now, while the group apparently caused some damage to the external part of the home, they never managed to get in, and witnesses said they drove off in a dark-colored sedan. The homeowner's sister-in-law also emphasized that while the thieves didn't take anything, they sure took away the peace and sense of security that had been there before. The incident also left neighbors spooked, particularly because this was set up as a DoorDash delivery. One resident explained that everyone in the area loves using DoorDash. The sentiment there is that there's truly no way of knowing who you're going to open your door to if you're expecting a delivery driver. And even the police recognized that, as they advised no one should open their door to any delivery service unless they were expecting such a service. The police also mentioned that legitimate DoorDash drivers would have no problem leaving the food outside, with no need to open the door. Scary clowns. Alright, so if I'm going to talk about these clowns, I feel like I should mention that this was part of the 2016 clown craze. 2016, I was freshman year in high school. In 2016, I was leaving middle school, entering high school, and I remember this. I remember it clear as day. Y'all, I'm 22, alright? I'm not that old. I'm not old, bro. 22 is not old. 22 is not old, bro. Y'all gonna call me old head. It's because y'all like fucking, y'all like 15 and shit. Whatever. That's not the point. That's not the point. Hey, all my 20-year-olds, let me know in the comments y'all watch me, because I have faith that I have an older audience. 20-year-old, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, whatever. I know y'all watch me. Please let me know. Anyway, so basically, it was kind of like a trend. It was one of the weirdest trends, actually, where people would dress up in these clown costumes. I'm pretty sure it was October 2016, and literally just wait to be taken pictures of or make people run away from them. I mean, that it was really it. It was kind of risky on your end if you wanna, oh, I'm gonna dress up as a clown. It's like you are risking getting beat up by, you know, someone who wants to impress a group of girls or something. Yeah, so that was a 2016 little trend. I wanted to mention that. Clowns can be lovely, but as captured by this Ring camera in Toledo, Ohio, they, or rather pretend clowns, can be pretty creepy too. This happened back in November of 2016, and as seen in the video, a clown approaches what looks like a front door while donning a zombie-like walking style. Even scarier is that they're carrying something that looks like a machete, which they hold up in full view of the camera. The clown walks all the way to the door, peeks around, then rings the bell, and disappears back into the darkness of the night. Not many details are available for this incident, which sort of makes it even creepier. Like I said before, this was hopefully just a random teenager or young adult playing a joke on someone. I would hope it wasn't actually a murderer who's the new clown killer or something. Now, this is just one incident that was captured on camera, but I also have another one to show you. Yes, it's also another clown caught on the Ring camera, but I would say this is a little creepier because this is just breaking into someone's house with an actual weapon. So this one took place in a home in Texas. It was peeping into windows and trying to open doors. The video first appeared on Live Leak with the original poster attaching the caption, "This morning I noticed my gate was open. I checked my surveillance cameras and found someone in a clown costume was trying to get into my house. I'm sure we would all be dead today if he was able to get in." This happened at around 2:25 a.m. and just as in the first video, the clown here is carrying a weapon, a knife, that is clearly visible to the camera. They tried the first door before walking around and trying a different door, then a gate which opens, and then more doors. The clips of course spread fast due to its creepy nature, and while some dismissed it as a staged thing, media reported that it was something that law enforcement was taking seriously given the clown menace that had been experienced at the time, including where a couple of clowns in Greenville County, South Carolina, had tried to lure children into the woods by offering them large sums of money. The clown trend had begun as sort of a joke, but then turned into a whole thing where clowns were chasing people with knives and machetes, brandishing guns, and other similar bizarre things, including hanging around in graveyards and remote roadsides. Like I said before, this has to probably be one of the dumbest trends. It's almost like wearing a t-shirt that just says "shoot me." It's just like, what is the goal here? Like, you don't even get clout from it. They didn't even have like their @ on their shirt or anything. Follow me on Instagram. Like, it was so random. Yeah, I didn't understand that trend when it was going on, but the next one we're about to talk about might actually be a little weirder, though less disturbing. Let's head on to that one. Fake kidnapping in Albuquerque. On the night of June 14th, 2022, this video was captured by a Ring camera. Initially, people thought what they were seeing was a 10-year-old kid being chased and beaten by a group of adults, but that would all soon change. We'll come back to that, but first, right as the car pulls over, the victim can be heard saying, "I'm only 10, several times, as they get chased around. And as they run, they can be heard saying, "I have to go home to my parents." That was of course alarming, and the video quickly got shared around. First appearing on Neighbors by Ring, which is just Ring's community app where people can share things that are going on in their community, and they can provide their Ring footage, or they don't have to, they could just type out anything. Either way, it's a community app for the community. The original poster on Neighbors was sort of asking if anyone was missing a 10-year-old and stating that they had captured them getting beat by several people in the Coulter and Washington area. Following the uproar, the Albuquerque Police Department got involved and began investigating, starting off by requesting the public for information about the two cars, one a red or orange hatchback or SUV, and the other a 1990s black BMW. After that, it wasn't long before they arrested 31-year-old Sharian Flores for faking a kidnapping situation. Yes, what everyone thought was a 10-year-old boy was actually a 31-year-old woman. And not just that, it turns out that Flores was a wanted person. There were warrants out for her arrest over attempted auto burglaries and an assault against a teenager. These things apparently happened before what could be seen in the Ring video. And even worse, her criminal history was quite extensive, going as far back as 15 years and including things like shoplifting, car theft, drug possession, and aggravated assault. Anyway, what had given her away to the police? Well, a witness that saw the video told the police that they knew Flores and they were pretty confident that was her in the video. Now, in addition to all of that, and maybe justifiably, the police received quite some heat for their slow response to the whole thing. Why? Well, David Davidson, the guy who called 911 about it, and also complained that help didn't come until after several hours, didn't know that what he was watching on his Ring camera wasn't a real 10-year-old in danger. To him, it was just a case of the Albuquerque Police Department refusing to prioritize a case involving a child screaming at the top of their lungs. A pretty bizarre incident overall. Vintage TV sets. There was a time when a neighborhood just outside Richmond, Virginia was at the center of a peculiar and honestly kind of funny ordeal. As captured in this Ring camera video, a man is seen walking up to a porch and leaving an old TV. All the while, he's wearing a TV on his head, and it's clear that he can see through it as he's able to walk up and down the steps leading to the porch. He places the TV down, then walks out and disappears into the night, wearing the same blue attire, which looks like a uniform. He did the same thing across several homes in the neighborhood. He waves to the Ring camera. This also means that he for sure knew he was getting recorded by different cameras all over people's doors, but wasn't fazed by that at all. Now, while leaving just 1 or 2 TV sets could have been pretty funny, this guy went the extra mile, and within about a week, he left about 60 TVs on 60 different homes. This caused a lot of confusion among the residents of the Gray Oak subdivision in the Glen Allen neighborhood. One neighbor, Robin Shore, who received a Toshiba FST black-striped TV made back in 1986, did for instance think that Amazon had just gotten lazy with their delivery to her husband. She thought her husband ordered a TV online and they just didn't bother to properly box it. However, through the neighborhood online group, she soon realized their home wasn't the only one with such a TV. And unsure about what was going on, the speculation became that those TV sets were Trojan horses that could cause some sort of harm if allowed into the home. Some even opted to open them up and check if anything fishy was going on. Anyway, soon the police got involved and confiscated almost all of the TVs. However, without 1, knowing who this man was, and 2, not knowing a clear motivation, they couldn't charge him with any criminal offenses. It's just a random dude giving out old TVs while wearing a TV on his head. Just really a funny, weird incident. The 3-hour doorbell lick. Ring doorbells capture a lot, but probably top among the most disturbing ones is this one. This is a video from Salinas, California, where a man was captured licking a doorbell for an entire 3 hours. As clearly seen in the shared clip of the incident, the man, later identified as Roberto Daniel Arroyo, simply leans on the wall and sort of slithers his tongue on the doorbell while staring directly at the Ring camera in front of him. Even weirder, the homeowner, Sylvia Dungan, said that the man was relieving himself. She also said that she wasn't home at the time, but her kids were. The family had just installed the security system, and being a modern one, it had the feature to notify them when someone was around the front porch. So, on that Saturday, while her kids were not woken up by the noises, Dungan said she got a lot of notifications about someone being at the door, which was weird because it was about 5 in the morning, and the only person who could have been there, her son, who probably had worked night shifts, never used to get home until 6 in the morning. All that prompted her to go on and check the footage from that morning, and that's of course when she saw the bizarre incident. She also didn't think the incident really caused any harm despite it being incredibly weird. She admitted that they kind of laughed about it afterward, as Arroyo, the guy, didn't break anything or harm anybody. They did, however, thoroughly clean the doorbell after. Now, according to Miguel Cabrera, the Salinas police spokesperson, the department was pleasantly surprised at how clear the image quality was on the Ring camera, so it didn't take long to identify the culprit. He went on to be charged with petty theft and prowling. Overall, a very strange thing to be captured on a security camera. Now, the incident that I just described happened in January of 2019, and it seems like he inspired someone, because barely a month later, this video was captured by another Ring camera. So this is yet another man licking a doorbell, only this time it was at a home in Lake Worth, Florida. This happened at around 6 a.m., and as can be seen in the video, the man leans over several times licking the doorbell camera, and then starts pointing at different sections of what looks like a newspaper that he's holding. According to the homeowner who had been in bed at the time, she got a notification on her iPad that someone was at the front door, and that's how she ended up checking to see what was going on. In a surprising twist though, while the man's behavior was strange, he wasn't a stranger to the neighborhood. The homeowner apparently recognized the man because he used to live there, in the neighborhood, before becoming homeless. He was apparently said to have been suffering from some mental health problems. Edgar Morley, a local public information officer, also added that this man was someone encountered by the police, quote, on a frequent basis. When questioned, he admitted to having been at the residence evidence and said that the owners were his friends. He thus never got charged with anything, although that could also be because, according to Morley, the public information officer, Florida, while a weird place, doesn't have any doorbell licking laws. And as for the homeowner, they thought it was a really good investment because, quote, you never know who may be licking your doorbell. So if you guys are considering buying a Ring camera, don't buy it for your safety, your protection, your privacy. Ew, who cares about that? Try to get one in order to catch people licking your doorbell. Let's head on to the next one. Man just keeps showing up. Showing up at someone's house carrying an assault rifle is definitely scary, but so is simply being a creep and non-stop showing up at a random person's house, especially pretending to be your part of social services. This is something that was captured by a Ring camera in Sacramento, California, where a man showed up at a home several times, including at night, claiming to be from social services and demanding to be let in. In one of the videos, he can clearly be heard saying he's with social services, while in another, he claims that he can hear a child crying, a baby.
Social services.
Claiming he's from social services.
Yeah, I'm on social services.
And asking the homeowner to let him come check on children inside the home.
You know, I hear it.
All that to be allowed to come in. In one of the videos, the woman inside can be heard telling him to leave and notifying him that she's calling the cops. Now, more detailed reports of this incident indicated just how weird and scary the situation was. For instance, the man had come to the home about 4 times in just a few prior weeks. Then, all these times, it had been just a woman and her 4 kids inside, as the woman's husband would be away. Also, all these 4 times, the woman had apparently called 911, and while the police responded, the man had not been arrested or even issued a citation. According to her, it seemed like the man knew she was alone in the house and had no way of protecting herself. Also, strangely, when asked by a reporter why he kept going over to the woman's house, the man just said that he never intended to irritate them, but rather to see if they were okay. This was of course despite the police warning him not to do so. Anyway, commenting on the situation, Mark Reichel, an attorney in Sacramento, told the media that the man indeed was breaking state law around harassment, and in any case the woman filed a civil harassment order, a judge would grant it. The justification would be that his creepy behavior was repeated annoyance and disturbing her, and it was also a pattern that was predictable. The infamous police chase in Portsmouth. In May of 2022, a Ring doorbell in the Columbia Street area of Portsmouth captured this video of an active police chase. Right at the beginning of the video, you can see a gray pickup truck rush by, then a black one follows, then a gray crossover, and finally a full-size SUV. All this is before the homeowner then steps out to check what's going on. Of course, the first vehicle is the suspect, and the rest were officers from the fugitive unit of Chesapeake Sheriff's Department, who had apparently been on the lookout for the suspect for crimes done a day prior. It turns out that the whole thing had begun when the police got calls about a suspicious male that was apparently checking car windows. When they arrived at the scene and tried to stop him, in an arguably dangerous move, he fired at them and took off. The officers had not fired back, and luckily no one got injured. An investigation was then quickly set up, and it uncovered that the suspect was 31-year-old Harold Crowder, a resident of Chesapeake. Now, this first incident where Crowder fired at officers had occurred at about 9:51 p.m. and prompted an active search for him. This was fruitful because the next day, in a second incident, at about 2:21 p.m. in the Deep Creek Boulevard area of Portsmouth, police saw him in the same Toyota Tundra truck that he'd been driving the day before. That's actually when the chase began, with Crowder hitting and damaging a vehicle in the process, but still refusing to stop. He eventually got caught after crashing the Tundra, which was stolen, at the 3900 block in Columbia Street in Portsmouth. He also did try to flee on foot after that, but the police quickly caught him. So, this Ring video of him zooming past the house simply captured the near-end bit of the chase. What's also interesting is that according to Mike Van Rom, the homeowner, he'd been watching TV when he heard a commotion outside and got up to check it out. After seeing what just happened, he immediately felt thankful not only because Crowder was caught, but also because he hadn't hit his car in the process. According to him, as luck would have it, he had parked the car closer to his house than usual. He'd often park further down the driveway where Crowder zoomed past. Wreath Thieves. It's disturbing how even with Ring cameras all over the place, thieves sometimes seem undeterred. That can be seen in this video where a woman is seen taking off with a wreath from a house in the Alamo Heights community in Texas. She simply takes it off the door almost carefully as if to not damage it, then rushes off to a waiting car, and then the car drives away. According to the homeowner who spoke to the media, this happened at around 2:20 in the morning, and they immediately took action, reporting it to the police, and having it circulated on several neighborhood blogs. The wreath was apparently valued at $300 and Interestingly, it was part of an annual tradition that the community has in the fall season where the neighbors go all out with elaborate decorations to bring the spooky spirits to their homes. Now, it seems wreaths are kind of a hot commodity to steal because in 2021, in a very similar video, similar in terms of sheer boldness, a similar event surfaced on the internet. A Ring camera captured a woman stealing a wreath from her neighbor and then topping it off by stealing a mat from a different neighbor. Woman rings bells, then vanishes. Alright, so I already spoke about this in a previous video. I think it was the CCTV footage video I made like maybe last year or 2 years ago, but I'll still speak about this story again just to get it out there and hopefully remind people that cases like this exist. On August 23, 2018, at around 3:30 a.m., a half-naked woman wearing just a t-shirt went around homes in the Sunrise Ranch subdivision area of Montgomery County, ringing doorbells. As seen in this video from one of the Ring cameras, she walks up to the door and rings the bell, seeming like she's in need of help. She apparently did that to a couple of other homes, and due to the confusion that this caused, and the fact that no neighbor properly identified her, an investigation got launched with lots of people from other areas across the country trying to send in missing person posters, hoping that it was someone they had been looking for. Going back to the video, it's clear she has some sort of hand restraints hanging from her wrist. The assumption had been that these were regular handcuffs, but they were later confirmed to be handcuffs for adult play. Now, initially, this woman remained unidentified and seemed like she just vanished into thin air. But that was until deputies found 49-year-old Dennis Ray Collins dead in his house. This was a couple of days later after the woman had been seen on the Ring videos, and it turned out that she was connected to Collins. Officers said that inside the home, they found items that matched what could be seen on the doorbell videos, and through that, they were able to locate her and get in touch. In short, what had happened was that Collins had threatened to commit and may have contacted his ex-girlfriend. This ex-girlfriend then requested a welfare check on him, but by the time deputies had gotten there, it was too late. As for the woman in the video, it's possible she was seeking help due to domestic violence, as that was the stance by the police. Specifically, they believe she had been unlawfully restrained and sexually assaulted by Collins. Inside Collins' home, there was a suicide note that connected the woman to him, further solidifying their theory. Now, her story was that she broke free from Collins, rang about 2 doorbells, then returned home before driving to her relatives in Dallas-Fort Worth. This is where she was when police had contacted her. Anyway, this is overall a very disturbing incident, especially considering that Collins had a prior criminal history, having been convicted of sexual in 2000, for which he got probation. Interestingly, the sheriff's office said that, based on the Ring video, their intention had been to investigate him for kidnapping, unlawful restraint, and sexual assault. Followed home. Being followed home is already a traumatizing experience, but when a gun is involved, this escalates a whole lot more. On July 15th, 2022, a Ring camera at a home in Wheat Ridge, Colorado, captured such an incident where a man is seen approaching the home with a drawn gun before fleeing. It turns out that the 2 suspects in the video, the male with the gun and the woman behind him, had followed the couple as they were walking home and did so all the way to their front door. The male suspect had suddenly drawn the gun and pointed it at their faces, but the couple were quick to react as they just quickly got in their home and slammed the door shut. In the video, this is where you can see the suspects retreat back to the silver SUV that was waiting and take off. Definitely a really close shave, with even the Wheat Ridge Police Department stating that there was no knowing what might have happened had the couple not closed the door. Now, even weirder is that about 5 minutes later, that same suspect actually robbed someone else, a man loading up his vehicle just about half a mile from the first incident. The same SUV was placed at the scene, and the suspects were still wearing the wigs or costumes, whatever they were wearing, and luckily, even with this attempted disguise, the police said that the suspects' faces could clearly be seen, and it was only a matter of time before they got apprehended. This was back in 2022 though, and there hasn't really been an update on the situation. For context, there probably was an update, but people just didn't update the internet about it. Now, in a very similar incident about 2 years earlier, in 2020 to be exact, in the Reynolds Walk neighborhood of North Carolina, a Ring camera captured a moment when suspects, 2 men, had been hiding near a home and tried to break in after following a woman. According to the homeowner, she had arrived home with her kids first, with her sister being expected to also arrive after a while. When she did, the homeowner went to let her inside the front door, and a split second after the door was shut behind her, the camera recorded a man in a red jacket trying to force his way in. An even scarier part is that neither the homeowner nor the sister had been aware of what was going on until they heard sounds they described as boom boom boom. They immediately went upstairs to check the cameras, and that's when they saw 2 men with a gun outside. From the footage, it's clear that noticing that he couldn't get in, the man takes off shouting, "I got locked out," several times to his accomplice. The Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department was notified, with the homeowner admitting that maybe if they hadn't locked the door in time, she and her children could have probably died that night.
One man appears to drop something in the front yard, then rush back to pick it up.
Man with rifle at 4 a.m. So we all know Florida is full of Florida men. Well, in 2018, in the Boca Raton area, a Ring camera captured this clip of a man ringing what turned out to be a neighbor's doorbell in the dead of the night. The man, who it's clearly visible that he's carrying an assault rifle and wearing a bulletproof vest, sort of staggers into the front porch of the home, before coming all the way up to the doorbell and ringing it. He then immediately walks away and disappears into the night. Now, this is obviously a really scary incident, and according to the homeowner, she and her 2 children hid in the bathroom once they saw the man on the security camera. Her husband wasn't home at the time. He was away on a business trip. The woman thus called her husband and the police, and it took about 25 minutes for the police to arrive. And for what he did, the man faced aggravated assault charges. It also came up that the man's daughter had recently stayed at that house because she was afraid of her father. So it seems like the families knew each other. Lingering on the porch for 6 hours. Hanging around someone's porch for 6 hours may not be as bad as licking someone's doorbell for 3 hours. But it's definitely creepy. This is exactly what was recorded by a Ring camera at an Albuquerque, New Mexico home in April of 2020. The video shows a man lingering on the porch, pacing around, smoking what looks like a cigarette, lurking by the garage, and even stranger, dropping his pants, slightly exposing his butt to the camera. According to the homeowner, Maris Lopez, her family had not been aware the whole thing happened until the next day when she was clearing videos from the doorbell camera. She was shocked to see that the man had arrived around midnight, walked through the front yard gravel rather than the paved path, and simply set camp at her porch with his backpack. The man had apparently not left until around 6 a.m., which is when the family woke up and turned on the light. Lopez, the homeowner, when talking to the media, said that while there was no interaction with the man, she felt disturbed, especially given he had at one point peeked into her son's bedroom. Terrified, she reported the matter to the Albuquerque Police Department and shared her experience on social media. This is when she also learned that the man had apparently been seen around the area knocking on doors and looking around. Anyway, in an effort to prevent the same disturbing thing from repeating, she resorted to stacking the stairs on her porch, something she thought she'd never do as she lived in a pretty good neighborhood. Rattlesnakes. So this could be disturbing or not depending on your fear of snakes. But it looks like snakes, especially rattlesnakes, have a thing for doorbells. In 2018, a Ring camera at a home in Texas belonging to Allison Keller captured this video, where a snake can be seen hanging on the door by the camera and slithering around. This was around 2 a.m. at night, and she'd apparently gotten an alert from the camera that someone was at her door. She wasn't ready for what she then saw. Other incidents include this video from 2023, where a homeowner named Bobby, in a very similar way as Keller's video, received a notification about someone being at his door in the dead of the night, only to look and see a snake slithering around the doorbell. He admitted that he was thankful for the camera, because if he had walked out and seen the snake, he might have gotten a heart attack. And just for good measure, here is yet another uninvited snake on a doorbell at night. This is from 2019. Alright guys, thanks for watching the video. Make sure to leave a like on it. Actually, please click the like button. Do it. And if I earn your subscription, hey, all I'm saying is you should probably subscribe. It's summertime, I'm grinding on YouTube again. Make sure to go check out my second channel where I premiered the trailer for 2 Gay Cats. Yes, the show I said I was working on last year. I've been working on it for a year now. But I have a cartoon coming out called 2 Gay Cats. It's over on my second channel. But this is the end of the video where the watch time drops off horrendously. So I gotta say bye quick. Goodbye guys. I'll see you guys next time I upload.